what are we doing here?
We're doing an intro. I'm Crickett with Drift HQ.
I'm Chris with Drift HQ.
We're back on TJ's car. If you saw in the previous video, we did the whole install for the engine and the transmission. So this video, we're gonna go to the back of the car. So we're turning this thing from a half a dream to a track queen. Make it look pretty.
He'll make it so he can drive it how he wants to.
Track queen, not drag queen.
All right, so continuing on TJ's car, we got the whole rear end that we were getting ready to put together. Donnie already went ahead and dropped everything out of the back. Now he's taking the parts we need, like wheel bearings and miscellaneous stuff. We have the subframe from RiseFab, which is already set up to accommodate our sweet Bulldog diff that we have sitting down yonder. And RiseFab already did the research for you. So with the rear grip kit we're gonna be installing, they already have axles that are set to the right lengths, so we don't have to measure them and then wait any longer for stuff to come in. So it's nice to be able to just put everything together on the table. We drop the subframe in one time and we're done. Hopefully. We might have to clearance the chassis a little bit for the top of the diff, but we're gonna find out.
We're definitely gonna have to clearance the chassis. But it's only a little strip, it's not much. It's an easy patch job. But they did a great job on it. All the welds and everything look great, nice thick aluminum. And I'm excited to see it bolt up.
Yeah, I wish there just was a steel option for these things. I don't know, I just feel like aluminum subframes after you cut them in half just aren't.
The only thing that sucks though, if you're trying to do FD spec, it has to be the subframe that came in the car. Even though you could swap it for what, is it G37 that has, or G35?
One of them's got a steel.
They have a steel subframe in it. So those of you who don't want to compete and want a little stronger chassis, maybe you're going to do something crazy with it, you can get the G35 or G37, check to see which one it is that actually is the steel one, but they have the option for you, so you don't have to go with aluminum. But shout out to RiseFab, this thing is sweet. Put this bully dog in here.
See how sweet it is when the Bulldog actually fits, then it'll be really sweet.
Because it was made for winters, right?
Yeah, but the pickup points and everything should be the same. Flanges are the same, output shafts, all that stuff. Ow. I have to rotate this to Jamie. Yep. So fun fact, Josiah actually covered this in one of his videos, talking about these front flanges. There's actually two sets of bolt holes on the front of this. So this one you see right now has one bolt all the way at the 12 o'clock position, and this here does not have the bolt at the 12 o'clock position. Those are all rotated a little bit. So if you take these out, there's actually a second set. Way.
Fun facts from Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bowed inside out, ain't it?
Donnie, pull up your pants. Donnie out here, a whole size 24.
The size 30 is a zip tie on it. Do as that as you will.
It'll make adult size pants.
Whoops, there it is.
The two loops touch on a size 30. So do
27, maybe.
I was going to say.
Donnie
28
says-
might be pushing it. All right, you want to lift this and I'll slide her on through?
Donnie real small, race car driver size.
Yeah, that's why Donnie's car is so fast. Oh yeah. Yeah, the subframe's a little easier to lift than the actual differential. One thing we also noticed with the Bulldogs is there's a little prize inside.
Yeah, it's like a Happy Meal. Comes with a toy.
So if you're wondering, like, wow, they really shipped me this thing without any hardware. Let me try and lift that up a little bit. Yeah. Well, there's your hardware.
Right in there.
No way.
I didn't find out until after I put Duarte's fully in the car.
Yeah.
And Chris
After
went
the
to put
bolt
gears
set
in
went
it.
down.
Oh, Donnie using the, what are those?
The heavy duty abrasive hand cleaners
Benchmark.
and tool cleaners from Benchmark Abrasive.
All right, so on unboxing of our axles, we found that this actually comes with a new hub, which uses a thicker spline count. I think it's probably the same as the 370, but it just makes it so the hubs are a little stronger, and then they can make this part of the axle thicker, so you don't have a tendency to snap this. I'm sure this is made out of some crazy hardened stuff. So we had the old wheel bearings from it because it had the ARP studs already on it, but if you're ever trying to take a hub out of a bearing without damaging the bearing, it is very difficult. So we are likely just going to get some new rear hubs for it and new bearings for it and press these hubs into it.
We have gotten the rear grip kit on the car, got Wisefab on TJ's car. And the nice part about rear grip kits is it gives all new arms in the rear. Everything new, new knuckles, and then you get better pickup points. So Wisefab relocates the upper pickup point 2 inches, which is FD legal. You're allowed to move the pickup points up to 2 inches for better arm angle. And then another great thing about grip kits is just adjustability. You can, your alignment on the fly, change it, make it fully adjustable, and then you don't get as much camber gain under squat too with grip kits, which is what we're all looking for. We want as flat tire wear as possible. This is gonna be a comp car for TJ, so he needs all that grip that he can get with this thing.
Yeah, you remember the old days where you buy like 7 different control arms from 7 different companies, you put them all together, and then you buy your dual caliper kit, then you buy the spacers for your axles and all that other stuff. Now you get everything at once. So you got dual caliper provisions, changing all the geometry of it, you get a new knuckle, so you have to change out a bunch of bushings, and you got all matching control arms, and you get a sweet blue color in there, which, you know, gotta appreciate the aesthetics.
We're all together now.
That was sweet, that was smooth. You're a smooth criminal, bud. I want to buy one now.
We replaced all the Crickett bushings.
I already did, bro.
I know. I already did.
Yeah, you did it. It's done.
It's
Still for sale. And if
I
it's
finished
still...
his entire subframe swap and all the bushings by the time that he welded the diff.
Yeah, it was fast. Well, it was a nice, well lubricated chassis. So
yeah,
you know,
well, also
the,
had a
the
spare
first 2
subframe.
motors I had blown in it, you know, so there was oil that soaked it. So there's not 1 drop of rust on it either.
Well, I had a spare subframe too, which helped a lot.
I told Chris at lunch if his car is running before I sell my car, we're gonna swap some paint together before I sell my wagon.
Well, hopefully this car would be the same color as mine when we go driving together.
Yeah, I'm not spending money on color.
All right, so with the Wisefab rear installed, we can look at a lot of the adjustments and stuff that we have. First of all, it gives you the options to use your OEM calipers or the Brembo style calipers, whatever. We did put some EBC yellows in here for his handbrake, give him a little bit more bite out of it. Up here, you can look at the Wisefab here. They have a slotted camber adjustment, which is nice instead of just having like a slide bolt that you have to worry about moving while you're tightening it. That at least it'll stay in one spot. As well as on the bottom here, you have more adjustments there, as well as you can see our traction arm now goes all the way to the rear to change the suspension geometry to create more grip out of this car. So yeah, so for the Bulldog to fit with the Wisefab subframe, it does keep it up nice and tight, whereas you don't have to worry about your ground clearance being so bad. But for that, we did end up having to beat up the floorboard a little bit. Normally we will cut and plate that, but that one actually only needed about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or an inch or so, so it wasn't really worth cutting everything out. Plus the radiator and the fuel cell and everything kind of covered the area that was knocked up. And Crickett actually did a really good job hammering it.
Use my fine adjustment tool.
Yeah.
Big hammer.
His purse.
Big hammer. Yeah, my purse. And then we also had to notch out a little bit of the bottom bar right here just for a little bit more clearancing, because I guess the Bulldog sits differently than the Winner's diff. So I had to take out about a 1/2 inch out of this little bottom bar. just for it to clear and be able to bolt up into place. Otherwise, everything bolted up real nice. They give you all the hardware for it, which is lovely.
Yeah, as well as we did our eccentric lockout, so we don't have to worry about the shifting, because this is an aluminum subframe, which isn't ideal, but you know, we got to work with what we can to keep everything within regulations. Another nice thing about the WiseFab is it comes with the heims already pretty much preset to the lengths that they're supposed to be. So it kind of takes some of the guesswork out of when you want to put the car together and at least drive it to the alignment shop. You're not driving around with your alignment like super wonky. So it was really nice to have that.
Just needs a little fine tune from there.
Yeah.
Dial in your specs. So a fun fact, WiseFab, they have this white stripe on their axles, and they allow up to 90 degrees of twist or torsion from the, you know, the torque. So, and it'll show you on the white line here if it actually twists. That's why they put that there. So it'll allow up to 90 degrees of twist on the axle before you need to replace it. After that, it might snap. Who knows? But yeah, they allow for that much twist on the axle, which is really cool. And then one other thing that WiseFab did that we didn't cover was the fact that they have sway bar pickup points on here. So if you want to run your factory sway bar, you can actually bolt it up to the factory pickup points on the subframe, and then they will bolt right to the WiseFab. And if we had one, we could put it on there, but we typically don't run rear sway bars, but we do run front sway bars.
It's typically driver preference, and TJ's car did not have a rear sway bar on it when we got it, so we decided just to leave it as we got it. Maybe one day he wants to add it. At least he still has all the provisions to put it in there, and nothing gets in the way of your axles or your control arms or anything like that, even though we changed a few pickup points, which is great. Take all that into consideration. Also, another cool thing about the WiseFab axles is that they are serviceable. So you can actually disassemble the axles, replace the center shafts, replace the ends, change the lengths, whatever, without having to just buy a whole new axle, which is also real convenient, especially if you're beating on your car a lot, and they beat on their cars a lot.
They're not that inexpensive either. So the fact that you can rebuild them shows, you know, longevity of them.
People helping people.
Yeah, love it. So in this series, you guys can tell we're doing a lot more in-depth on the build that we're doing. So a little bit more in-depth knowledge on every single thing that we're doing. So for instance, we did a lot on how to install the engine. We did it in this episode on how to do the rear subframe with the WiseFab and the new diff. So we're gonna keep that rolling. Hopefully you guys like it. And in our next episode, you know, maybe while we're back here, we might do a little something above this. I don't know.
Fill in a couple blanks.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think about TJ's car so far. Go tell him you like it too if you do. Go to his channel, say hi.